Welcome to the Splash Live. I'm your host, Maddie Mushton. This is the 30-minute segment where we give you exclusive West Bloomfield stories and interviews from the greater West Bloomfield community. Here from our studio off of Walnut Lake Road in West Bloomfield, the Civic Center TV studio. The Splash Live is our new live show right before the megacast from 9:30 until 10 a.m., giving you the greatest hits and interviews from the greater West Bloomfield community here live in the morning. And happy Friday. It's snowing a little bit, getting a nice little drizzle before we head into the weekend. Before we head into the weekend, we need to look at some of our featured events that we have here on the Splash Live. Some fun weekend events that you can do if you don't have any plans yet. So our first event that we have is our ongoing Soul Studio holiday market, something that we featured here every day on the Splash. This is going to be for the Farber Center Soul Studio. It's part of the Friendship Circle. They have the holiday market where they make sure that their local artists are getting the proper highlighting and gifts there. All of their local artists have made some art pieces that they are selling there, as well as some jewelry, some mittens, and they also have some customized sneakers that you can get from their local artists there at the Soul Studio off of Drake Road there at the Farber Center. This is ongoing until the end of December, so you can, if you're one of those last-minute shoppers, you can still go until the end of December. And if you have already done your holiday shopping, you might want to go and pick up a nice gift for yourself. These are nice holiday personalized gifts that you cannot get anywhere else because they're made in-house from their artists there at the Soul Studio. Our next event that we're going to feature is also an ongoing event. This is the Toys for Tots drive that the West Bloomfield fire stations are doing in partnership with the Marine Corps. So this is giving back to the greater West Bloomfield community. If you haven't already done your holiday shopping, you can go and pick up a gift for those who are less fortunate or during tough times in the pandemic and maybe don't have enough cash to go and get their family some holiday gifts. So this is the Toys for Tots drive that you can drop off your toys or any donations that you have at the West Bloomfield fire stations or West Bloomfield Town Hall. The drop off is open until December 18th, so that's until next Saturday. They're asking for toys for infants, toddlers, young children, and teenagers. Those teenagers oftentimes are the gifts that they are a little bit light on. So the makeup kits, the science kits, anything that you think a young teen would like. And if you don't know what to get for a gift, or if you've already done your holiday shopping but still want to donate, you can make a check out to the Marine Toys for Tots Foundation and drop off the check there. Any gift, big or small, is accepted, and anything helps during this holiday season. Our next event that we're going to go into is for Elysium Medical Aesthetics. This is the M-Scalt Neo event. This is a Saturday, December 18th. So at Elysium Medical Aesthetics, this is going to be the demonstration of one of their new services. So this is the M-Sculpt Neo. They're going to have a little demonstration of their new service, and you can also get a discounted package there if you go and visit them and have a little glass of champagne, or just go and see their demonstration, and they will show you what the M-Sculpt Neo, their new service, is all about. And our last event here on the Splash Live is going to be the Winter Solstice celebration. So this is the West Bloomfield Parks event that we talked with Kelly Heyer about yesterday. She is for working for the West Bloomfield Parks. This is going to be Tuesday, December 21st. Registration starts tomorrow, so you can go ahead and register for their Winter Solstice celebration. You can go celebrate with your community, bring your friends and family, enjoy some food, and go celebrate the Winter Solstice event with your community. This is a fun event that the West Bloomfield Park started last year and will be continuing this year. It will be right outside the Recreation Activity Center, and so make sure you register. The registration opens December 4th. And for the person of the week, are scanning our QR code and nominating someone that you think deserves recognition here in our West Bloomfield community, whether they're an educator, a student, someone from a local business that you think deserves recognition here on the Splash Live. You can go scan that QR code, fill out the Google form, and put in some information about who you think we should nominate for the Person of the Week here on The Splash Live. We're going to take a quick break, and on the other side, we're going to see our Person of the Week for this week. We had a teacher feature that is Heather Cruz from the West Bloomfield High School. She is a Spanish teacher and a peer mentor here, so don't go anywhere. After the break, we're going to check in with Heather Cruz.
Don't go away. You're watching The Splash on Civic Center TV.
Make the world a more beautiful place.
Teens a day die from texting and driving. Don't text and drive.
And now, back to The Splash on Civic Center TV.
Welcome back to The Splash Live. I'm your host, Maddie Muschin. We're going to check in with our Person of the Week. This week we had a teacher feature, one of our wonderful teachers here in the Greater West Bloomfield community. It's going to be Heather Cruz, the Spanish teacher and a peer mentor at West Bloomfield High School, making sure her students last year during the pandemic when they were doing hybrid and online school were still learning and having fun and safe ways to learn Spanish. And then this year making sure that while in the classroom masked up, that those students are still learning the language of Spanish in a healthy and safe, fun way. So we're going to check in with Heather Cruz right now.
Teachers are an essential part of our community and society at large because of their work educating the leaders of the future. We want to acknowledge those teachers in our West Bloomfield community on The Splash. This month's teacher feature is Heather Cruz, a Spanish teacher and mentor at West Bloomfield High School.
Traveling abroad, I loved Spanish. I liked kids. I thought it was a good mix. And so that's kind of what drove me to be a Spanish teacher. As far as West Bloomfield, when I first moved here, I was really unfamiliar with really any schools in the area. I wasn't sure. And I had originally took a position with another district. And then when I got here in the summer, I kind of looked around, looked into different districts, and then I interviewed with West Bloomfield. I loved the area. I got a great vibe when I came in the building. And so, so then I decided to go ahead and come to West Bloomfield instead. And I've been very happy since.
Heather has made sure that throughout the pandemic, her students were able to learn Spanish via Zoom. Now that all of her students are back in person, she creates fun assignments and activities that inspire her students daily.
So last year I felt like it was just a constant pivot. Anytime we started one thing, I felt like we sort of got some momentum with it. We sort of figured out what we were doing. Then there was a shift again, and then there was a shift. So we were here. The kids were 100% remote when we started last year, and then teachers were in the building teaching kind of cohorts. And then they sent teachers home about probably November, so we were teaching completely at home. And then in January, we came back to teachers were full-time and the kids were part-time. So it was a huge learning curve, and it was really fast. There's so much that we're kind of going back and just refreshing on and just kind of filling in those holes. It's almost like anything that they really retained from last year is like icing on the cake. So there is a lot of recycling and revisiting information from last year and just kind of filling in holes. And I will say even this year we are going, I think pacing wise, we are going a little bit slower pace as well. about the time you start to get some momentum, I will say, like, kids are absent, and then it's hard when either kids are at home because they're ill or they're at home because of quarantine. We don't really have a system of what to do when those kids are absent to get them caught up. I think a lot of times too, we tier activities, right? So that we can kind of say the words together, do things in like a safer way, which would be like the first tier, and then the second tier, then they can kind of practice with their peers. Again, all kind of doing the same thing, and then maybe the next layer would be that they would have a one-on-one conversation, and then maybe the next layer would then be the teacher would ask them to produce the language. But over Zoom, all of those things kind of get jumbled.
Her bright and bubbly personality, combined with her love for teaching the students at West Bloomfield High School, is why we chose Heather Cruz for our teacher feature.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. We just checked in with our person of the week, our teacher feature, Heather Cruz. Again, she is the Spanish teacher at West Bloomfield High School, making sure her students are learning the language that she loves in a healthy and safe way this year at school. We're going to take a short break, and on the other side, we're going to check in with our Friday regular guest, Suzanne Levine, the Executive Director for the West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce.
Don't go away. You're watching The Splash on Civic Center TV.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu.
It's peaceful, it's quiet, and the noise and stress of life can sometimes disappear.
It's the Great Lakes water, and so what people do ends up in our waterways.
It's for our health and safety, it's for our economy, it's for protecting the environment that we all enjoy and we all need to survive.
So clearing storm drains and the areas nearby of trash and leaves helps keep them for rain only.
We're all about one water in this region. We're all connected. We all have a role.
And now, back to The Splash on Civic Center TV.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I'm your host, Maddie Mustian. We're going to look at the QR code again for our nomination for the person of the week. Obviously, we checked in with Heather Cruz, but if you have someone that came up in your mind during the time that you were watching Heather's teacher feature, go ahead and scan that QR code and nominate someone that you think can also be featured here on the Splash Live, whether that's someone that is an educator, a teacher, a student, someone that is making a difference here in our West Bloomfield community, making our community a better place. We're going to check in now with our Friday regular guest, Suzanne Levine. She's the Executive Director of the West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, making sure that all the businesses and the events in West Bloomfield are getting highlighted and featured in the community, and making sure that through the pandemic, those businesses were being supported. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Suzanne.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's first, last week we talked about the couple of events that you guys already had, the Heroes Breakfast, as well as the Health and Wellness Fair. You guys have the installation of chamber officers coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about that event and the officers that are getting installed here into the Chamber of Commerce?
Absolutely. Well, it's tentatively scheduled for in-person at the Avalon of Bloomfield Hills on January 21st. And usually, typically, we have Judge Diane D'Agostini, 48th District Court Judge, who will officiate and install the new board, as well as a couple of new members. And we're really excited about that because, as you know, last year we were very fortunate to have Civic Center TV hosted virtually. So we are really looking forward to being back in person. And I'm looking forward to, finding a great MC, perhaps it might be you, for the event. And it's really wonderful because it's a great way for the community, excuse me, to see what's going on and who are these people in our community that are on our board. And one of the things that I've tried to do is I've tried to connect some of our chamber members to the board members so there's more of a connection, so they're not just some officials that are kind of, in a cloud somewhere. We're excited to welcome Dr. Mike Pizzamenti, owner of Health Quest Physical Therapy. He's going to be one of our new members. And Dr. Manu Malhotra, Chief Medical Officer at Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital. We have our returning president, Vito Kukuru, Consult Vito, as well as other members, Stacy Zakovich of Positive Shift. We have our treasurer. My mind has just gone blank for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe because it's Friday and I'm excited about the weekend. But anyone can go to our website and check out who our board is, and they should definitely contact me if they want to make a connection with our board of officers, because I think it's really important for our community to be connected, not only to the chamber, but to the people that are, trying to help them succeed in their business.
And then for these board officers that are getting installed, obviously they have different positions, but what is their main purpose to be installed and help out the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce?
Well, part of their mission is to make sure that we continue to listen to the needs of our business community. A board of directors also kind of oversees everything and makes sure that I'm doing my job. So, and I think that's important because I think we always need oversight over, who is running the show, so to speak. So I welcome their oversight and their ideas and anything that I can do to implement new and exciting business ventures to make sure that our community thrives, because we know, especially now with this new variant, businesses are nervous. What's going to happen during the holidays? Will people come into their stores? Are they just going to use Amazon? And I think, it all benefits us if we can support our local business community.
And then we talked a little bit about the awards breakfast too, and how in the past that was not in person, and you were kind of figuring out what to do this year for the awards breakfast. But until you figure out what that is going to look like this year, can you tell us a little bit about those types of awards and what the format looks like for that event?
That's great. Well, in the past, we used to have it at Shenandoah Country Club, and it was more of a dinner. And it was fabulous because we'd have our great MC, Charlie Langton, who would host it. And the community has an opportunity to nominate people in our community that have made a difference. And there's 5 different categories, from business leader, health and wellness, entrepreneur, and spirit of the community. And usually I pick someone who's a chamber member of the year. This is a chamber member who has volunteered to help support our chamber. So it's really been great. We've honored a very diverse group in our community, but this is the public's opportunity to make sure that they nominate people that they see, are doing things to make this a better place, to live, work, and play.
Well, thank you for the updates today on this Friday as we head into the weekend, and we look forward to getting more updates about the installation of the officers and that awards breakfast.
Yes, I'll definitely be in touch with you about that.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Suzanne.
Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Once again, I was joined by Suzanne Levine. She's the Executive Director of the West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. And now we're going to check in with Sandra Haddad. She is the co-founder for Elysium Medical Aesthetics in West Bloomfield. Obviously, we highlighted that M-Sculpt Neuro event that they have going on December 18th. But she's going to tell us a little bit about how we can keep our skin and body healthy headed into the winter months as it gets colder and the seasons are changing. So don't go anywhere. We're going to check in with Sandra Haddad, and she's going to tell us all those tips that she has.
What's going on, West Bloomfield? Looking to take your skin and body care to the next level? Well, we found the place for you.
Welcome to Elysium Medical Aesthetics, a luxury medical spa utilizing the latest aesthetic medicine technology. We spoke with Sandra Haddad, co-founder and owner, to gain more insight.
We are a physician-operated luxury medical spa located in the heart of West Bloomfield. We use the latest technology in the world of aesthetic medicine to help you achieve the skin and body of your dreams.
We also asked how Elysium collaborates with their clients to find solutions that best suit their needs.
Dr. Haddad actually sits with our clients to address all their skin needs. He develops a plan for our customer based on their budget, their skin concerns, and then we start from there. We do send out a medical history form, and Dr. Haddad actually reviews it before the client comes in to advise our esthetician what products they should be using, what are the settings they should be using on our clients. Also, he advises in terms of the serums they should be using, the skincare they should be using as well.
Elysium also prioritizes muscular care. We asked Sandra in what case would clients find themselves in need of such treatment.
We get sometimes to a stage where, working out is not getting us the results that we need. So we actually have the newest addition to the Elysium family. We have the M-Sculpt Neo that helps tone your muscles, removes an average of 30% of fat cells, and tighten your skin. So we have a wide range of treatments to meet all your needs, but again, our recommendation first is to preserve your skin, take care of your diet, exercise, and then we have things that will help you get the skin and body of your dreams, and we have things that can help remediate the damage that has already occurred due to aging, pregnancy, delivery. There are things that are irreversible we have devices that can help you to reverse those issues that you're not happy with.
For any and all aesthetic needs, check out Elysium right here in West Bloomfield. Reporting for The Splash, I'm Brendan Schreiber.
Welcome back to The Splash Live. I'm your host, Maddie Mustian. We checked in with Dr. Sandra Haddad. She is the co-founder of Elysium Medical Aesthetics here in West Bloomfield, checking in and making sure that our skin is healthy and happy this winter season. Now we're going to go into our last guest here for the episode today. We are here with Chris Nixon. He is the administrative director at Henry Ford's Maplegrove Center. This is a behavioral health center. They have outpatient services as well to help those who are struggling with addiction. Thank you so much for joining us today, Chris.
Oh, I'm pleasure and honored to be here.
So first, let's talk a little bit about behavioral health and maybe the difference or how mental health also coincides with behavioral health and the types of people that you see come into Maplegrove and how you help them out.
Yes, we treat people who are struggling with the disease of addiction, who have substance use disorder, and also people that have co-occurring disorders where they have an SUD, substance use disorder, and a mental health disorder concurrently. Often we'll see folks coming in struggling with depression and anxiety as well. So those are the types of individuals that we treat.
And then tell us a little bit about the process of having someone go seek help at Maplegrove, whether that's a loved one that knows someone struggling with addiction or if someone is struggling addiction with themselves.
Yes, so they can call our direct number, 248-661-6100. We offer inpatient services, residential services for those who need that level of care. Evidence-based practice, highly skilled clinicians and providers here, and a very nurturing environment, holistic approach, treating the mind, body, spirit, and also individual. We offer that too, and group therapies, and we're doing most of that virtually right now. And so we do an assessment screening on the phone when an individual calls, and we help to make a determination of which level of care would be most appropriate to match that individual with the most appropriate level of care.
And then behavioral health and addiction can oftentimes be stigmatized in our society today. How is Maplegrove kind of combating that stigmatization and offering that help that those struggling with addiction may need?
Yeah, so we have a community outreach program and a coordinator, Lisa Kaplan. She does great work. So we intentionally go out into the communities, into schools, and various events so that we can educate on addiction and destigmatize. The reality is that this addiction doesn't discriminate, regardless of race, color, creed, socioeconomic status. It doesn't matter. So it's something that it's very, very important because a lot of folks are really struggling with shame. And so shame is often, and stigma, those are the two components that often preclude folks from reaching out for help. So what we say here is that only 5% of all people who struggle with addiction ever get treatment. So there's 95% of the population that is struggling with addiction that never do get treatment. And that's astounding. So, and one of the reasons why, it's because of the stigma piece and the shame associated with addiction. So it's very, very critical to be able to provide education to the general population on the disease of addiction.
And then with the pandemic, obviously people are struggling very generally with mental health, but also maybe with addiction and substance abuse. Do you see that there was an uptick in people that you had call, or do you think that the pandemic has affected that at all?
Yes, the pandemic definitely has impacted addiction and mental health. And so we've seen an increase in both areas. And this will be ongoing for the next 1 to 2 years. So there's folks who are struggling with persistent anxiety coming out of this pandemic. I mean, we're still in the midst. We're in our 4th surge here in the state of Michigan currently. In addiction specifically, we're seeing a lot of people who had an occurrence of addiction or addiction was initiated during the pandemic, and they're first timers into our treatment program. So increase, especially among women in alcohol. We've seen an increase of about 35%. So it's been very, very significant, unquestionably.
And then you said too that addiction doesn't stigmatize when it comes to age as well. So you also have outpatient and treatment options for teens struggling with addiction, which is something that is very rampant in our country as well as our community. So what are some of those teen programs that you have, or what do you say maybe to a parent who thinks that their teen is struggling with addiction?
Yeah, so one thing that I encourage families to do who have a teenager that may be struggling with addiction is we have a share program every Thursday night. It's a support service for families who have loved ones that are struggling with addiction, and that's offered to the community. So folks can go onto our website, and it's virtual. So being able to connect to others through our support group or through Families Against Narcotics, they have support groups all throughout the Tri-County area. And so they can offer, our program can offer many, many suggestions. But the key is to open dialogue with the adolescent and, approach with loving compassion and curiosity. And try to build a little bit of a rapport, not just blaming, using anger, things like that. You really want to try to approach with loving compassion.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Chris.
Great, thank you.
Once again, I was joined by Chris Nixon. He is the Administrative Director at Henry Ford Maplegrove Center for Behavioral Health and Addiction. That is going to do it for our show today. For the Splash Live, we are going to be on next week. We'll see you on Monday at 9:30 on Civic Center TV on AT&T Channel 99 and Comcast Channel 15. And if you miss any of our interviews or our stories, you can always go to civiccentertv.com to check out our on-demand page on the Splash Live archives. For all of our friends in Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, Keego Harbor, and West Bloomfield, I'm your host, Maddie Mustian. Thank you for watching the Splash Live.